Hello everyone and welcome back to Spider-Man. Today we're going to continue on our side quest marathon, but we have skipped ahead a little bit. I will be showing off all of the side quests, of course, but for now we will skip ahead to something that is actually kind of interesting. And that means we are going to go hunt down Tombstone. Yeah, just making sure that we are in the right place. This side quest starts at the Octavius lab.
While I'm here, I should examine the transmitter MJ found.
Just like the next actual story mission. Which is why I'm slightly confused about the main quest marker here at the side of the door. But it doesn't matter. I was just a little bit worried that it would actually activate the main quest. But thankfully that is not the case. So let's look at this transmitter.
If I can reverse engineer this, it should track Tombstone's shipments.
And we have another one of these. You know the drill. We'll skip ahead to near the end of this. Nothing special about that.
That should do it. Time for a test run.
And that is all that we can do here at the lab right now. So let's get a move on.
Okay, just gotta follow the signal. Should lead to whatever it is Tombstone's moving.
Right, we have a proximity sensor and it's tracking something, so...
This guy's the mother of all headaches. Impermeable skin plus zero morals equals bad time. Hope running a chop shop's the worst thing he's up to.
Somehow I doubt that is the case, but we will see.
There, that truck. Out for a Sunday drive?
Maybe those guys actually were on a Sunday drive and we rudely interrupted them. And now they are justifiably pissed at us. Or perhaps not.
Oh boy, gang's all here.
Well, I'm sure it's not all of the gang. I'm sure they left somebody to hold down the fort back home. And yeah, we're just throwing these motorcycles at their faces and they explode, which doesn't seem very healthy or very non-lethal for that matter, but I guess these guys are built pretty strong.
Biker gang down. Let's see what's in that truck. Chemical containers. But they're scrubbed clean. Looks like they came from the Alchemax plant in Harlem, but what was in them? And that sound means the end of our lightning round. Should head to Alchemax when I get a chance and find out what was in those barrels. Tombstone's up to something. Probably illegal. Definitely dangerous.
And we have leveled up as well, so in a bit we'll just take a look at our skills. We have 3 skill points. Of course we have already gotten most of the really useful skills by now. So it's gonna be a little bit slim pickings, I would say. But we will see what we can get. And we have also unlocked a new suit that we can craft. Well, there's the spider armor and then there's this. The Spirit Spider, or as it was called in the comics, Ghost Spider. Now this was basically a what-if story where Peter Parker gets the spirit of vengeance instead of Dan Ketch, the second Ghost Rider. And yeah, we'll craft that at some point and it'll be a lot of fun. But for now, we'll just take a look at our skills here that we can get. Also, speaking of Ghost Spider, wasn't Spider-Gwen supposed to be renamed Ghost Spider at some point? In the comics anyway. Did that actually ever happen, or... I don't know, I probably should have looked that up beforehand, but there we go. Yeah, we get a couple of nice skills here. We get the charge jump, which is not super useful, but it does what it says on the tin. We can hold down the jump button and then just launch ourselves up. Kind of like the charge jump in Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 and original Xbox and GameCube. And the mission screen here, it has these overview blurbs that we haven't really taken a look at before. I'll try to remember to look at those more often in the future. But right now we're heading to Alchemax.
There's the Alchemax plant.
Or the Alchemax plant, rather. If we can ever find the actual quest marker, there we go.
This might be easier if I stay quiet.
Where are all the security guards? This is a ghost town. Does shoot. We're gonna pull a boatload of cash once we get ready from the street. You think all these chemicals are safe to be around? Safer than...
Now we could just drop down to go and beat them up. I'll cut ahead in a bit because we have seen plenty of these segments by now and it's just gonna be the same thing really, so no need to waste a whole lot of time on that.
What was that sound?
And once again we get to play around with the trip mines, always a fun time. And here I actually mean to use the web strike takedown, but I accidentally picked the perch takedown.
Hey, you guys aren't registered pharmacists. The no lab coats thing gave you away.
Which wasn't really ideal, but it doesn't matter. Got the same end result anyway.
Tombstone's men are down. Now to find out what's in these barrels. Diox 3. Isn't this the chemical Tombstone was exposed to as a kid? What's he doing with it now?
Yeah! Let's go, come on!
I'm guessing that stuff's not for asthma.
Yeah, we heard one of the goons there talking about grave dust. And I think we can safely assume that this right here is grave dust in action. It makes nearly invulnerable zombie men. Kind of like Tombstone himself. And I'm not entirely sure what was going on over there.
Drugs. Someone's gotta teach these guys about the dangers of peer pressure.
Some weird glitches, but never mind. And yet these guys who take grave dust are not exactly invulnerable or anything like that. It wears off pretty fast when we punch them a few times. As we can see here. So they are not exactly invulnerable, but I suppose that we do have superpowers, and it would probably be a lot more use against, like, regular cops or rival gangs or whatever. And yeah, there we saw the grave dust kind of wearing off. One more guy over there, so let's take care of him.
Bad feeling those drug inhalers and the Diox 3 are related. Should analyze an inhaler to find out what's going on here.
And when Spidey says an inhaler, he is referring to this one very specific inhaler, because for some reason nothing else will be accepted.
All right, what's in you?
So now we got one of these minigames again. Yeah, subtractive lines on the fragments, yeah, we know how this works.
Diox 3 plus designer amphetamines.
Well, that sounds delicious.
Clever recipe for temporary invulnerability. I'm impressed. And worried. This stuff hits the street and there'll be a huge market for it. With Tombstone as the sole supplier. Think I can synthesize a counter-drug. Wonder if there are any lab supplies in that truck.
Yeah, I was slightly jumping the gun there because I thought we had to leave the area, but we have to, of course, get this stuff from the truck first.
Artisanal science. There. Single dose of the counter drug. Just need to test it out.
Well, I guess we're gonna go and test it out on Tombstone himself. That doesn't even make sense. We're not gonna kill him, I don't think. I guess we could go shopping for a Tombstone with him, but it seems a little bit premature. But in any event, we need to shut down his operation, once and for all.
Time to shut Tombstone down. The angry drug lord drank alone. There's a poem in there somewhere.
You know better than me. Never was the literary type.
How'd you even manage to connect with Martin Lee?
I'm top of my game. I don't go knocking. People find me.
There's gonna be quite a bit of talking in this fight, as you might expect.
No? You ever wanted to team up? We could do some real damage.
Ah, so flattered. But the exploitation of suffering thing gives me pause. Need to tire him out before I try the counter drug.
And yes, Spider-Man helpfully reminds us every 5 seconds that he needs to weaken Tombstone before we can try the counter drug, which gets a bit old after a while.
Could punch Tombstone for days and he wouldn't feel it. Wonder if the counter drug would work on him.
Boys, get in here! You remember last time we did this dance? Your leg healed up okay.
Hurts when it rains, but otherwise dandy. Sweet of you to ask. Can't use the counter drug till I take out Tombstone.
Yes, thank you, Spider-Man. We have established that. And speaking of taking out Tombstone's gang, this is kind of annoying because the auto-targeting does prioritize Tombstone, which, I mean, is fairly understandable.
Clear out his men before I try to counter-drug.
But we have to take his men down first before we can focus on him.
Calling it grave dust.
You have your marketing department cook that name up?
I am the marketing department.
Well, I mean, at least it's staying on brand. And boys, you really shouldn't be riding those motorcycles indoors. That is just asking for trouble and injury. And now this fight in general is, well, it's pretty much the same as every other boss fight in this game, to be perfectly honest. We just have to weaken him with webs or objects and then take care of his...
You wouldn't want to take a break, would you?
Oh, Ronnie, tired? Someone's been skipping cardio.
Yeah, take care of his little buddies,
Close.
which we have done now, and now we just have to punch him a couple more times. Are you done yet?
Counter-drug worked. Time to take him down.
Hell was that dosing with? Feel kinda funky.
Oh, you know, particulated deblocking agent, the usual.
Well, it seems the counter drug has worked because he's now feeling funky. That is always a good sign, of course.
He's exhausted. Time to end this.
Man, my tongue feels funny. My tongue's supposed to feel funny.
Oh yeah, totally. 100% normal. I think.
But in general, this fight is pretty much the same as it was before. He has swapped out his sledgehammer for this burning chain, and I have absolutely no idea what's going on there. Thank you very much, camera. Very helpful indeed.
Someday, Lonnie, I want to find you doing good. Running a soup kitchen or something.
Soon as soup pays, I'll be.
Well, as luck would have it, there is an opening available at the Feast Center. I think Aunt May could keep Lonnie here in line. I mean, Lonnie is deep down just a nice boy from Harlem.
End of the day, this is what I love. Great fight. Great challenge.
You and I are very different people.
So yeah, the fight itself is not that great, but I do like the atmosphere.
Can we say your crazy drug lord days are done? Please?
Sure. For now. Hell of a run, though.
Not quite how I'd describe it.
That's new.
Too much to hope you'll be taking it easier now that you're, you know, mortal?
Not a chance. Threat of death just ups the thrill. Hell of a left hook. Can't wait for the rematch.
I can.
I like you.
Yeah, I quite like Tombstone in this game. He clearly has respect for Spider-Man.
Well, that was dramatic. Wonder how long Tombstone's powers will be negated for. Probably not long enough. Good work for now, though, Pete. Pats on the back all around.
And with that, I'll see you next time.